What's up, Libra? We got to. Okay, first we actually do the card description and then we go into the actual reading, right? And this card was pulled from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck, and this is from Adriana Ayala's. Okay? And the description is first, this card is Elder with the subtext of wisdom. Rising from the underworld, release, letting go, major transformation, higher wisdom, new perceptions, awakening to the truth. Also known as Queen of the Fairies or Queen of the Underworld, Elder is steeped in folklore and legend across many cultures. This tree is a symbol of sorrow, death, and deep magic. In Scandinavia, the tree is inhabited by a spirit called Hildamore, or Elder Mother, who will punish you if you touch the tree or chop it down without properly thanking her. In the Bible, the cross on which Jesus was crucified was also made from the wood of a giant elder tree, and a remorseful Judas hung himself from an elder tree. In the Middle Ages, elder was used as a protection against witches, evil spirits, underworldly entities. In Celtic tradition, the elder is associated with Samhain, a time of year to honor death, new beginnings, and transformation. It has been used since ancient times as a blood cleanser, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, used for the kidneys, liver, and digestive system. It is also used as a respiratory aid to prevent or recover from colds and flu. Astrologically, since elder encompasses the piercing duality of life and death, along with supernatural properties, it falls under general rulership of Pluto. To properly reap its medicine requires wisdom, and if improperly used, it may cause death. When its wisdom is properly harvested, its strong protective action on the immune system also greatly embodies Jupiter's archetype. This is the guidance portion. Elder signals the end of a phase in life, as well as the beginning of a major cycle. The Queen of the Underworld reminds us of the symbolic death that visits us often as we progress through our physical and metaphysical growth. Elder reminds us of the blooming we experience when we simply allow for our old self to decompose and giving new life. The old one needs to be torn apart and allowed to die. Don't resist it. Elder is a wise guardian, assisting us as we step through the doorways of darkness. Allow yourself to be consumed by her mighty presence, as the Dark Mother protects our spirit as it goes through the cycles of I'm going to say that one more time. Allow yourself to be consumed by her mighty presence as the Dark Mother protects our spirit as it goes through the cycles of transformation. There's a few things I think we need to talk about, but I think one if there is a doubt in someone's mind about the idea and the concept of the wisdom that you have in terms of the value that it really holds, you definitely need to follow that thread, and that is most certainly going to yield results that may surprise you in a way. I'll say the idea of a elder in this tree. I had a very, very strong impulse that someone's very much resilient and knowledgeable about this idea of well, not about this idea as if I have a grasp of it, the actual idea in itself, but more so just an idea in general. and most certainly should take that seriously, and definitely seriously. Not like I'm not really talking about just like the concept here is that what are you really giving when you pervade this particular knowledge onto someone, right? Because everything is an energetic, we sit down, we sit down with another human being, whether words are exchanged, whether words are actually said or not. It's an energetic exchange that takes place, right? That's the concept here. So with what you have, I'm guessing that it most certainly does have words, but you should think about the energetic exchange and the person in which you pass that on to. And look back at the other Libra readings, because that definitely has been something that's kind of been bubbling up a bit. But also the idea of Virgo, follow the thread. I believe that's what the video is called. You want to look back at that as well. Rebirth, rising from the ashes, is another theme that plays out pretty strongly here. Was it Persephone? The story of Persephone, if I remember this correctly, she was abducted by. Why am I thinking about Pluto? It's not Hades. Pluto represents Hades, but she was abducted by Hades, and at some point she became, and before the abduction, before Hades abducted her, she was like basically just this defenseless, innocent person. But after being abducted, she was at some point freed, because mom basically just rained hell down on earth. I can say that, but basically rained hell down on earth, and in that she was allowed to basically spend some portion of the year above land, or amongst really I will say the earthly realm, and then the rest in the underworld, I guess. But the idea was, in that transformation, she became the queen of the underworld. That transformation that really happened. And that idea, that what happened, I think a lot of us need to understand this concept. And it seems like this is something that I'm really seeing through. I've seen through a few of the readings itself, in terms of the actual transformation. But it's also like, in terms of this one in particular, the idea of the transformation being very Plutonian. There was one other one where it was Plutonian like this, but the idea of Plutonian with following the wisdom and passing on the wisdom. When it comes down to Libras in general, there's an understanding that, or there's a kind of just a thought that's just in the air, in terms of the idea of Libra surface level. I call it like the sun sign chick astrology, basically, where it's just like, hey, this is Libra, this is what that means. There's an association. I'm going to throw a few words out there, and you guys can kind of look it up and do something, but just bear with me for a second. In the meta zodiac, you guys are share rulership. So when you put Libra, you have an immediate. When you put Libra at basically the head of the zodiac, the idea is you guys are also associated with the 8th house, which is Taurus, which is the natural realm of Pluto in general, right? But the idea here is that you guys have a Plutonian energy that is very much natural to you guys. The idea of many Libras will identify a lot when they hear about themes or surrounding Scorpio transformation. And this idea, this concept here, what I'm getting a lot of is something of the doorway that we really have to go through and what comes out of that, right? We talked a little bit about this earlier. You don't want to necessarily talk and you know, you don't want to have an energetic exchange and where you don't quite realize that you're talking you're talking to like a future Darth Vader of some kind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to realize, like, there's a steps that have to be taken, and there's a definite respect that has to be given to the transformation itself, but the wisdom gained through the transformation. You can't give just without regard for what you're going to help bring about in the world. The idea of really being the queen of the underworld for Persephone and what she was able, the transformation she was able to make, it is powerful when you're able to kind of like just mourn where you came from, mourn what you know, what died, to birth what is not, or to birth what will be. You know, the pain of really being I'm thinking about I'm not sure if it's painful or not, but the pain of being in a cocoon, right, before you actually finish the transformation and become the butterfly. You have to get in that cocoon. It does require darkness. It does require that understanding of this is going to be a better life, or at least a better suited life, at the very least. So whatever type of cycle that this may come about, that this may really bring, you can most certainly mourn, but it is not something that you should hold on to. There shouldn't be an element to where you're just stuck on the past, and to an extent to where you're not letting what can be simply exist. And I don't know. I feel like there's it's funny because I'm in a situation where there's a lot to say, but I don't know if I've reached a threshold in terms of how much, how effective what I say will be in this particular regard. I feel like a lot of you guys have a deep, really understanding. And so with that, I'm gonna shut up. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week. Have a good week.